I'm going to share with you one key swim, bike and run workout for 70.3, your next race, if this is something you're really interested in and it's really going to test you and really highlight where you're at, potentially 6 to 8 weeks out from your race. So tune in. I'm going to go through one swim, one bike and a run workout that's going to set you up for your perfect race. Starting with a swim session, there's so many different types of sessions you could do. This is one that gives a little bit of open water contextualization for indoor swimming, because most of us train in a pool. You can make this work outside, but for now I'm just working off a 25-meter swimming pool, or you could alter it for a 50-meter pool. So roughly 2,500 meters swim, so a little bit over the distance of your race of 1.9. Now you need a base element of fitness for this. I wouldn't try this straight away. And critically, we need to try also know our critical swim speed, okay? Otherwise known as threshold. So we just need that for the percentages to work out your actual paces. So if you've not done this, it's a 400 meter and a 200 meter or yards time trial. You can simply go online, and I won't go through a full calculation. It's a 400 meter divided by your 200 meter, and it works out your critical swim speed. So for example, mine might be, depending how fit I am, around 130 per 100. So everything's based off that. It's quite crucial you understand your thresholds. If you're using Training Peaks, you can just pop in your threshold swim speed and it'll push out 7 zones for you, or 5 zones depending on what model you're using. So I'm using a 7 zone model, and I'll use it as a percentage of your threshold, so not a number zone, because that's confusing. All right, so you can do a choice warm up. So just grab your pen and paper, or you can pause this and write that up. I like to do a little bit of drills. It's very individual, and some snorkel work. Big fan of the central snorkel fitness. Basically just to really highlight where you put your hand in the water, nice relaxed upper body, and you also really pivot yourself as a nice kebab skewer. So it really just sets up your rotation and your catch. So very, very much sort of 8 to 12 minutes duration. Don't get too hung up on your meters. Okay, so then we'll get rid of all the bits, and 850 as kick swim. "20 seconds. Okay, so we want to just get really nice and taut. So the idea is not to become a really amazing kicker in the pool as a triathlete. That doesn't actually help us much. You only get about 30% of your stroke from your kick, but it really tightens everything up. You can either have your hands straight out in front of you, you can use a kickboard, or depends on your weakness. You want to try and get really nice hip extension. So using those glutes, we want to kick from the hip, not from the knee. If you really need to use fins, you can, because that'll help fire up everything, and then swim back really nice and easy. So 850 is going to give you about 400 meters of work. Obviously, you can shorten that if you're not as fit. Next one is going to simulate a little bit of direct carryover to open water for sighting. You'll understand this. We're going to do 25 meter as head up swim. So it's quite uncomfortable. 25 meters, we're going to go steady, so try and control the recovery, and then 25 meters fast. Again, about 20 seconds. Okay, so head up swim is exactly that. It's not putting your head down in the water, so you almost do a bit more of a water polo drill. Really tighten your core muscles, because you'll find you'll just basically snake down the pool, and that's not very efficient. The idea is to try and strengthen the neck muscles, mimic sighting for the buoy. Obviously chin just above the water surface so you can breathe, and it's really high heart rate stuff. You'll work on your catch at the same time. So 6 to 8, 75s, 25, 25, 25, finishing really nice and fast. And you can choose if you breathe 3s or 5s or every stroke on that. Okay, so that is the start of it. Okay, make sure you know your thresholds. Choice warm up with some drills and snorkel, 850s and 875. So this set is designed to fatigue us first, to kind of simulate what it would be like in a race where you're continuously swimming for 1900 meters, because it's a 70.3 race prep. So we want to really tire out the body. Okay, so 5 by 100 meters at what we call VO2. Okay, so that's above your CSS pace. It's about, to be precise, 101 to 104% of your threshold. Okay, speed. All right, so you need some fitness there. And we are going to do 25-second race rest. Okay. All right, so now we're starting to really burn through some glycogen, really tire out the body. You then are going to go to 6 by 50, so it's also shorter, but at the same as above. Okay, so really fatiguing your body over around 800 meters. All right, so lots of dead arms there, and then we are going to go straight into, now it's a big range because this depends on your ability, if you're fit enough to do this. 6 by 200 meters, so not super long. And we are going to add a pull buoy, which will simulate a little bit of a wetsuit. And I like to throw in strength, not big paddles. Okay, just big enough to cover the hand. All right, I just use a speedo paddle. And that's going to be 70.3 sort of race pace. So, and slightly above. Okay, so the paddles and the pull buoy will make you move faster. So the session is probably more around threshold or slightly above, whichever you can maintain. First time you do it, you probably want to just do on the low end. That makes sense because you want to get through the set. So roughly 2.5 Ks, and cool down is choice. We never really get super hung up about, I don't think you should, about details of exactly how much to do. Tire out the body with some VO2 above threshold, some short ones, you'll love those, especially if you're more of a fast twitch upper body. And then this is going to require quite a lot of fatigue management. So there you've got a CSS with fatigue, really good carryover to 70.3. Now, bike, nuts and bolts. This is your big workout. You need to be fairly fresh for this. Okay, so in the warm-up include, this can be as long as you want, 10 to 15 minutes. Include about 2 60-second zone 3 or tempo efforts. Okay, just to prime the body. Once you're ready, then it's 1 minute. This is all still priming before your main set. It's a classic 70.3 descend. Okay, 1 minute hard. Now this, what does that mean? We're going to go at VO2. Okay, so percentage wise, I've got 102 to 103%, so just above threshold. Okay, and straight into 1 minute easy. So these are all prep sets, and then you are going to go 2 minutes. Okay, and that's going to be at about 97% of threshold. Remember, it's all based off your FTP, which is crucial. You need that set in your training peaks. Okay, and that is 2 minutes and 97%, 2 minutes easy. All right. Okay, so you are now pretty much priming yourself, and then it's straight into 5 minutes at, let me double check, 90 to 92% of FTP. Okay, so kind of sub threshold. It's quite tough. But after you've fatigued the legs first, that'll feel all right. The first session is always much harder. And actually this whole bike set will get, on paper, it'll look really difficult. It'll actually get easier as you settle into the rhythm. Okay, so that's mainly the warm up with some priming. All right, just have a little look at that. So it is a descend set, okay, all around race pace. So 82 to 86% of your FTP, okay, all of them at that effort. Ideally, you want to try be in the time trial position, of course. Maybe with the first time you do this, you won't be able to do it, but ideally specificity is key. So we are going to go 12 minutes. Let's just get this right. And that's going to be 5-minute easy. After that, 4-minute easy. After that, 3-minute easy. 2-minute easy. 1-minute easy. All right, so that's going to give you a decent set. You should feel better as you get along, probably around here. And of course they shorten, and then a nice cool down based on how much time you got. So that is a solid 70.3 workout that's going to give you 40 minutes of work at around a little bit above and around race pace, depending on your level of your ability. Okay. The run session is pretty simple. Most of us will do some quality work in the week. This is more going to test you around the specific kind of duration and race pace. So it's a tempo run, 10K at tempo. You can start shorter and build, but the goal is to try and do this 1 to 2K warm up. Now you can do some drills and some dynamic mobility in that warm up. And I always like to progress it because sometimes you feel pretty good. Sometimes you need a little bit more warm up. Okay, so 91 to 92%. So you're on it. You're quicker than race pace, and for a half Ironman. That race pace terminology is very much specific to the distance of the race. Okay, which I'm sure you've figured that out. So try to do it on a flat terrain. Most races are on flat terrain, and make sure this is very easy. There you have it, 10K tempo. All right. Another way of doing it, if you're in an undulating area, is you push the inclines to high zone 3, knocking on just below threshold, and then when you crest, your heart rate will start to drop, but you can actually run quicker in terms of speed and still do your 10Ks undulating, so it turns into a little bit of a strength run. That is the next level up. Okay. All right, I'm going to do a little summary after this, certainly around fuel. There we go. Give it a try. The first time you try it, it'll be pretty tough, at least 3 or 4 times before your key race, and you will arrive in a fantastic shape. As you can see, pretty specific swim workout, pretty specific bike, and working slightly harder than the demands of the race. And then a real honest showing of how well you manage your heart rate and your pace relationship on a tempo run, which is pretty much where you're going to be. Now remember, these sessions are pretty glycotic, so they'll burn through a lot of carbs. So having some pre-carbs before all of these sessions is going to give you a better quality workout, plus it'll aid the recovery. Okay, so don't do these first things in the morning without having any carbs. Plus, during that bike session, it's up to now 20 hours and 30 minutes. I would definitely have 30 to 60 grams. It doesn't matter if you get it from semi-solids, liquids, or real food. Just feed the muscles because they are it's such a glycotic session. Now, even trial as well some caffeine, 3 to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight as part of your morning amount to calculate. Start on the low end if you're sensitive to caffeine. If you're a regular habitual caffeine drinker, you can maybe go mid-range, and you'll see the difference in your workout. It's superpower, and also it's widely used anyway in the professional circuit. So not every session needs it, but you want to try and get the most bang for your buck. See how you react to the caffeine. Remember, drop me some comments if you have any questions. If you're really struggling, you can reach out, book a call, and we can chat about one of our coaches, myself or Felix, can potentially line you up with the right program or some coaching. Okay, so I hope you enjoy the other videos. Please like and subscribe, share it, whatever you do to make this community grow, and hopefully see you at a race soon. Come say hi.